In the early 1960s, I was a fugitive, known as the Black Pimpernel, dodging apartheid's police while organizing resistance with the African National Congress ANC. Apartheid, in force since 1948, segregated South Africans by race, stripping blacks of rights to vote, own land, or live freely. This story, The Shadow of the Pimpernel, a safe house in Rivonia, centers on a fictional tailor named Elias, whose quiet courage in running a safe house in Rivonia, where I and comrades planned our fight, became a cornerstone of our struggle. His tale is one of secrecy, sacrifice, and unbreakable resolve. Elias, a soft-spoken man in his 50s, lived in Rivonia, a semi-rural area near Johannesburg, where his small tailoring shop stitched clothes for black workers and white farmers alike. In 1961, after the Sharpeville massacre where 69 unarmed protesters were killed, sparked our shift to armed struggle, I needed safe houses to evade capture. Elias, a distant cousin of my comrade Walter Sisulu, offered his home, hidden behind his shop's racks of fabric. I arrived one night, disguised in a worker's overalls, and Elias welcomed me with a nod, saying, "Your fight is ours, Madiba." His shop became a hub for Umkhonto we Sizwe, our armed wing. Elias' role was simple but vital. He provided cover. By day, he sewed, chatting with customers to deflect suspicion. By night, I, Walter, and others like Govan Mbeki met in his backroom, planning sabotage targeting power lines, not leave, still pressure the regime. Elias' wife, Grace, cooked for us, her silence as steadfast as his. Once, a police patrol stopped by, asking about agitators. Elias, calm as ever, showed them a half-stitched suit, joking about late orders. They left, never checking the back room where I hid under a pile of cloth. The safe house wasn't just a hideout, it was a lifeline. Elias smuggled messages to ANC leaders in exile, hidden in coat linings. His daughter Ruth, only 14, carried food to couriers, her school bag stuffed with coded notes. I marveled at their courage, reminiscent of the 1956 Women's March, where 20,000 women defied pass laws. One night, Elias shared his fear not of arrest, but of failing his family. I told him of my own children, left behind with my wife Winnie, and we bonded over the sacrifices we made for freedom. In July 1963, the net tightened. Police raided Rivonia's Lillisleaf farm, another ANC base, capturing documents that exposed our network. Elias heard whispers of informers and warned me to leave. In 1985, I was in Pollsmoor prison, having spent over 2 decades behind bars for fighting apartheid, the system that segregated South Africans by race since 1948, denying blacks the right to vote, own land, or live freely. This story, The Flame of Defiance, a nurse's stand in the Townships, follows a fictional nurse named Thandiwe, whose courage in the turbulent 1980s, amid township uprisings, mirrored the resiliency of our struggle. Her tale is one of healing, bravery, and hope, woven into the fabric of our fight for freedom. Thandiwe, a 35-year-old nurse, worked in a clinic in Langa, a Cape Town township where poverty and police brutality were daily realities. By 1985, South Africa was aflame. Township protests against apartheid's pass laws and poor living conditions had erupted, sparked by the 1976 Soweto uprising. Thandiwe, inspired by stories of my ANC speeches, which she heard through underground networks, tended to wounded protesters, her clinic a sanctuary amid chaos. She wasn't an activist, but her heart refused to ignore the suffering she saw. One night, a young man, shot during a protest, stumbled into her clinic. Thandiwe stitched his wounds by candlelight, knowing police could raid at any moment. She hid him in a storeroom, whispering, "You're safe here." His name was Sifo, a student leader, and his gratitude fueled her resolve. I learned of such acts on Robben Island, through New Prisoners' Tales, reminding me of the women's 1956 march against pass laws. Thandiwe began smuggling medical supplies to other clinics, using her nurse's bag to hide bandages and antibiotics. The state declared a state of emergency in 1985, giving police unchecked power. Thandiwe's clinic was watched, but she kept treating protesters, teaching mothers to care for tear gas burns. One day, police stormed in, accusing her of aiding terrorists. She stood firm, saying, "I'm a nurse, I save lives." They arrested her, but her patients rallied, blocking roads until her release. This defiance echoed our 1952 Defiance campaign, where we broke unjust laws together. Released, Thandiwe joined a secret network of nurses, coordinating aid for townships like Gugulethu and Nyanga. She trained young women, including her niece Lindi, to bandage wounds and spot police spies. At night, she held meetings in her home, sharing smuggled ANC pamphlets that quoted my call for unity. Once a neighbor betrayed her, and police raided her house. Lindi hid the pamphlets in a fly-o tin, saving Thandiwe from another arrest. Their courage reminded me of my wife Win's resistance under house arrest. By 1986, Thandiwe's clinic was a hub for the United Democratic Front, a coalition aligned with the ANC. She met activists who carried messages to exiles in Zambia, linking her work to our global fight. During one protest, Saifo, now recovered, was killed by police. Thandiwe organized his funeral, defying bans, as thousands sang in Kosi Cyclo I, Africa. Her grief turned to action. She began documenting police brutality. Her notes smuggled to lawyers building case is against the regime. In 1988, as I was moved to Victor Verster prison, Thandiwe faced a firebomb attack on her clinic. She rebuilt, using donations from township families, her spirit unbroken. Lindi joined the ANC underground, inspired by her aunt's courage. Thandiwe's work sustained the townships, keeping hope alive as international sanctions and protests weakened apartheid. On Robben Island, we heard of nurses like her, their stories fueling our secret debates about endurance. When I was released in 1990, I visited Langa, meeting women like Thandiwe at a rally. Her clinic, now a community health center, stood as a testament to her defiance. She handed me a notebook of her documented abuses, saying, "This is for justice." As president in 1994, I thought of her when we expanded healthcare, honoring her fight to heal a wounded nation. Thandiwe trained nurses, passing her skills to a new generation, including Lindi, who became a doctor. Thandiwe's story reflects the thousands who turned healing into resistance. Her clinic was a fortress of hope, linking township struggles to our broader fight. On Robben Island, we sang of such heroes, their courage sustaining us through years of isolation. Her defiance, like the 1956 Women's March, showed that ordinary people could challenge a brutal system. This tale of Thandiwe is about the flame of defiance that burns in those who serve others. Her ubuntu shared humanity touch is that healing and fighting are one. If you face injustice, be a Thandiwe, use your skills, however small, to stand firm. Mandela power to the people.